Okay, we are looking at a three-dimensional cuboid. We need to be reminded that this is a six-sided shape. This yellow front has a matching back part. This top orange has a matching bottom part. And this reddish side that is on the right has a matching back part on the left. So this will help us when we look at the next problem. So it says the surface area of a closed box is 988 square inches. If the length is x inches and the width is 3 inches less than twice the length, and the height is 2 inches more than the length, we have to calculate x. So what we have to look at is we have to imagine this box from three different perspectives. So if this is the left and this is the right, the dimensions we have would be the length by the height. Now, we have this number 2 because there's two sides we're considering. This x represents the length, which we get from here. And we said the height is is 2 more than the length. Okay? So we have the 2 and the x plus 2. If we look at the front and the back, then we need the width and the height. So the width is given as 3 inches less than twice the length. And if the length is x, you need 2x and then take away 3. And then, of course, we saw the height was x plus 2. And when we look at the top and the bottom, we need the width and the length. So the x represents the length, and the width is, as we already mentioned, 2x minus 3. Notice I'm using blue for the length, I'm using the brownish color for the height, and the greenish color for the width to try and show what's going on. So when we multiply these out, this will help us to solve this problem. Now, this one and this one are going to be somewhat simple. So let's look at the more complicated one. So when we multiply the 2 by everything in the bracket, we're going to get 4x minus 6. Now, the 4x has to multiply the x and the 2. So the 4x multiplies the x and the 2. And the minus 6 must also multiply the x and the 2. And so that's why this is set up like this. I'm using the colors to show that. So this 4x multiplies the x, and it also multiplies the 2. The minus 6 multiplies the x, and it also multiplies the 2. So now let's consider the 2x, because we're going to multiply the 2 by the x. And this 2x has to multiply both the x and the 2. And likewise, when we go to this one, we get the 2x has to multiply the 2x as well as the minus 3. Okay? So when we multiply, it's going to be 2x to the power of 2. And this is going to give us 4x. This is going to give us 4x to the power of 2. 8x minus 6x minus 12. This will give us 4x to the power of 2. And this will give us minus 6x. Now I focus on each term. So these are the x squares. I have 3 of them. I have them in yellow. That's going to be 2 plus 4, which gives us 10. When I focus on the x's, which I have in blue, 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 take away 6 is 6. And 6 take away 6 is 0. So there's no x terms. And there's only one term, minus 12. So of course, this minus 12 needs to move over, and that's going to be added. Because when you move a number over to across an equal sign, the sign will change. And so that's going to give us 1,000. Now, I need to divide both sides by 10. And so that's going to give us 100 when 1,000 is divided by 10. When we have x to the power of 2, we need to do the square root to get that to be a single x. And when you take square roots, it's going to be plus or minus. So x can be a positive 10 or a negative 10. But as this is a real-life situation, we can't have a length of minus 10. That doesn't make sense. So the number we want is positive 10. So the length has to be 10. And we already established that the width is 2x take away 3. 2 tens minus 3 will give us 17. And we established that the height is x plus 2. So the height plus 2, sorry, the length plus 2, which is going to be 10 plus 2 is 12. So we have the length, we have the width, we have the height. Once we have those three, we can also find the volume. And we just multiply the length by the width by the height. And that's going to give us 2,040 cubic inches, because this is inches times inches times inches, which is inches to the power of 3, or cubic inches.